Okay, so we're here with David Kubela, who's the new site director at High Desert Middle School. And he's starting amidst this time of COVID-19 and the distance learning and all of the changes happening. But we're happy to have him, and he's sitting here with us today to answer some questions for the community.
Thank you.
So, thank you. I sent you the questions earlier, so hopefully you had a chance to review them. So geographically, Acton is a pretty small town. It has that small town feel. Is it different from the South Pasadena area? Do you feel, I mean, and you haven't had a chance to meet all the students yet and everyone, but do you foresee differences and similarities between the two areas from your perspective?
Well, they are going to be quite different, and I have had experience with Acton. My brother lived out here for 15 years, so made some trips out here and spent some time. So I got to know it and love the community. I did come from a town in South Pasadena, which is actually a small town in the middle of a big town. So it's actually 3.5 square miles, and it's an interesting town because it's got a little kind of bubble over it, and it's in the heart of LA, but very small. And I lived there and raised my family there and taught there. I've taught in other places, but and worked as a principal in other places. But so I did raise my family there, so I know I do understand that kind of feeling. Although this is going to be quite different, but I do appreciate the feel of a small town and the definite benefits of a small town, and getting to know students really well and community really well. And you know, to me, schools are communities, so it's really important. I think the smaller that is, the better off you are in getting to know each other and working together. So definitely some definite benefits. I came from a very large school, so that's going to be I'm looking forward to that shift. And there's no such thing as for administrators an easy school, but looking forward to the new challenges and different expectations.
Awesome. And what are your main goals that you hope to achieve here at High Desert?
Oh, well, you know, our goals will be our goals, and it's always going to be based around student achievement, the social economic needs, and the academic needs of kids. But as I was saying, schools are communities, so it's critical that we develop those goals together, and so there'll be a process. And really, I always look for data, and that can be quantitative and qualitative, you know. But looking for data for improvement, and really getting input from the community. And typically that'll be through, we have a thing called an LCAP at the district, and really Mr. King is the superintendent, and making sure that we follow the LCAP and his vision, but then finding our unique needs here, and that's done as a community through our school site council with parents, students, and teachers, and the staff developing those goals. Okay.
Do you think that there's going to be some challenges in the academic school year next year because of COVID and the distance learning, or do you think the distance learning that we're doing is helping the transition into that, or do you feel that, or is there going to be maybe some benchmark testing in the beginning of the school year to see where kids at because, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah. Well, all to be determined. I wish I could, you know, we're still kind of in this kind of crazy period.
Right.
I should start by saying, I know people have gone through, it's been very difficult for people, and I know me at home, my family's working at home, and although I do come into work, I do work at home as well, and I know people have lost jobs and there's illness, so it's been really hard on folks. But it's also been really amazing what we've done as educators in a few weeks to put online schools together. And I know they're not perfect, but what we did in a short amount of time is really amazing. So I actually feel really good that we have those pieces in place, that we have those options. You know, of course, we want kids at school.
Right.
We want to use those technologies, but I think we have that in our back pocket. And the other really great news is just from my reading, you know, California, we were ahead doing the quarantines, and I think that's really helped us. We see the numbers aren't bad, and I do get a feel that we're starting to be able, you know, to come out. So I'm hopeful that if there'll be some kind of combination, or because it doesn't look like we can all kind of just get together on the first day of school.
Yeah.
But I think we'll certainly get there sooner, if not later. In the meantime, I think we have some good programs in place that we will continue to improve. So and I keep saying this, I said this in my old school where I left, but we'll get through this. And we're going to come back, and the normal might be a little different at first, but we're going to get back to normal, and hopefully be better about it. But I think all the work with technology is going to benefit us in the long run.
What are your thoughts on the PBIS, which is the positive behavior reinforcements? I don't know if you're aware that it was implemented at this in our district this school year, and it was kind of introduced and laid out, but not really played out. We really didn't get a chance to play it out because it's so new.
Right.
Are you familiar with it? Do you think it's a good program, and you want to continue it, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And it's we do the principles behind it are really the social economic needs of students.
Okay.
And we've done that. We do that in education. I think this is a more formalized way of approaching it.
Okay.
So that's always been the backbone of how I think schools should be run. We really need to meet those needs to make kids safe and comfortable emotionally at school. And so in terms of here, it's really getting a feel for where we're at and what we need to do, but what we're already doing. But some of the things we did in my past district, we looked at restorative justice. We started implementing restorative justice. As a district, we hired a social worker that would do pull-out groups for kids that don't meet IEPs and special ed kids. We looked at the rules as a school, and we revised them in a very positive tone. In the past, we've done things. We implemented a student mentoring program. It was called WEB, which is Project Boomerang, and we did a number of things over the years. So it's really we're doing things now, and I can already tell you just from the tone I get from the teachers that they're very connected with kids.
Yes.
And you can see that they're so focused on that. And, especially this, it's all about reaching out. Some really neat stuff.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of great things, but it's really going to be. I think it's good to have a focus, a school-wide focus on that. Celebrate the things that you're doing, and look to see how we could even make things better.
Okay.
So.
And you're right. This school in particular, the middle school teachers, most of them have been here so long, and they really are in tune with the community and the kids. It's really a great environment. There's not a high turnover of teachers here. It just seems like this is just one of those school sites that just has a lot of bonding and with the teachers and students. So I think that's.
I can feel it.
You can feel it when you're here. I felt it too. So have you ever experienced working with Safe Routes to School? It sounds like South Pasadena is a really small little area, so you maybe didn't have busy intersections near your school. So
Actually,
maybe
really busy.
Oh, you did. Okay. Okay.
I mean, student safety is our #1 issue. So it's good to hear.
Okay.
It's good to hear that that's something that we need to focus on. I will take a look at it. And the interesting thing about, when I came to school, I thought one of the really nice things, I was actually in the middle of it was a major thoroughway in a sense that people would be going from southern cities to northern cities. We didn't really have a freeway, so there'd be like freeway type traffic.
Yeah.
And then schools are interesting. They have, there's about 10 or 15 minutes drop off periods where you can be in the quiet area. This is such a nice, kind of isolated area. I'm assuming it's going to be really crazy for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, so how I would approach that, really work with the city, and one of the first things I'll do is I'll reach out to the police. I always have had good relationships with the police, and it's essential. But one of my core beliefs is being out there when kids are arriving. So I always block off those periods to be out there to help kids arrive. Sometimes stuff comes up at emergency
right.
But, to get a good look at that, analyze it.
There's something about the principal greeting kids outside in the morning. I got to tell you, it's a nice feeling. Awesome. I like to see it.
My favorite thing.
Yeah, and the high school principal does that, which you would think high school, but I like to see that. You can tell that they want to be there, and it's just just a few minutes, but it really makes a difference if you can. It's nice. Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that. All right, so the easy stuff here. What made you pursue an education career?
It's interesting. My mom was a teacher, and a lot of educators will tell you that. I didn't really plan on being a teacher, so, but I knew it well. My mom, I used to go help her work in her classroom on weekends and get ready for school, and she had PTA meetings at night. I always went along, so I kind of grew up at her school. And then, when I started raising a family, I just having kids and stuff inspired me to go and do that, and started off as an elementary teacher. Really liked working with kids. Okay. So really that, and it's funny. It's very natural to me. It's what it's like you feel like you're doing what you were meant to do.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do anything. My worst day, I wouldn't do anything else.
And then what do you like to do in your spare time, your hobbies or places you like to go? Or what?
Yeah, big sports fan. I'm really suffering right now.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, that's been hard.
Yeah.
A huge Dodger fan. I was a Rams fan growing up. They left, came back, and I'm a Rams fan, a UCLA Bruins fan.
Yeah.
So big Lakers fan. So missing that a little bit. I'm also a huge music fan. Not to be confused with a musician.
Okay.
So growing up, I have over 1,000 LPs from growing up, and then CDs, probably 1,000 CDs.
Yeah.
So I still do that a lot.
LPs are records.
I have LPs, yeah.
Yeah.
I still have those. And
Yeah.
they're back.
Yeah.
They're back. Who'd have thought? And then, so I have a family of an older, 2 daughters, both out of college. My last one just graduated from college last winter.
Oh, great.
I'm sorry, over winter break, right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And my wife. So we, spend time together, and we like to hike too.
Okay. This is a great area for that.
Yeah,
too.
my family, we came up here, and they ended up helping move in. But we've been up here a couple of times, but we plan on doing some hiking.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Really nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to a great relationship.
Thank you.
Okay.